Welcome back, folks. All right, let's do the damn thing. Voice of One Wheel coming at you strong from Studio D. Belly is in Studio A, and I am joined by Troy Hendricks in Floatlanta. What's up, Troy?
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Okay, Belly, get that music out of there. That is good shit over there. Fantastic job. What's up, everybody? Belly, are you okay in Studio A? It's been a bomb dropped on you this morning, and you're holding it down wonderfully.
I'm good now that I'm unmuted, but my real problem is right now.
What's the matter?
I don't have a hotkey to get to your scene, so I forgot to set that up yet. But it's okay because I'll be doing that behind the scenes and get it set up for me anytime in the middle of the show. So we're all good. But it's good to be here and great to have you on, Troy.
Troy, thanks for being here, buddy. I mean, you woke up early for us and you're ready to go. So are you excited for today's debut? You've never been on the show.
Yeah, man. It's not that early for me. I've already been out for a float today. And you know what? Just before we get started, I just want to say something. I know you guys had a few technical problems last year and you were frustrated at them, but just like so many people, like we can never know how many people like me ordered their board and then started looking for information about the One Wheel. And one of the huge pillars and channels of that information was your show. And the work that you guys put into this is amazing. And I just want to say on behalf of everyone I know in the community, thank you. Thank you, Belly. Thank you, Luch. Thanks for keeping up with it and putting the effort forward every single week.
Wow, thanks, man. I mean, you have no idea what that means to us, Belly. I know that feels good over there.
Yeah, very kind words. We much appreciated. We've been only flooded with support based on from all of our technical issues, so it's great to get that out there. Thank you.
We care about this stuff, and I love that people are listening, and you never know, because like you don't know. I mean, you think people are hearing it. Like you see, Troy, you ever see in these groups where it's like 10 people have liked it, but like 400 people have viewed it, and it's like you really have no idea who's watching the content.
And I mean, by the time I got my board, I'd waited for 3 months, and then I was listening to your show while I was riding. I mean, at some point, I think I ended up listening to all the episodes, and I learned the personalities. I got to know who Andrew Stroh was, and then from your show, I went and watched his YouTube channel. That helped my riding. And the whole community aspect of this is one of the things that everybody enjoys the most, I think. And a community doesn't just exist for you to go join. It's organic. It gets built from the ground up, and it's things like this that are a huge pillar of making that happen. So you don't know how many people you've affected by this, and each time you do it every week, more people are going to listen, more people are going to learn about products, personalities, and all the things that the community has to offer. And it's a really cool thing to be a part of.
Okay, Belly, can you talk to Clyde and make sure that he books Troy for every single show from here on out?
Yeah, me and Clyde are already in mass communication right now. So
thank you, Troy. We appreciate it. Let's get to you, man, because you are first of all, we're going to get into the Fishbones. I know you guys are excited to learn about that. Troy, Jonathan Stock, Rick Miller, they've come up with a really cool product. We're going to talk to them today. They've come out very recently. But before we get into that, Troy, you've been helping service the community. You talked about the community and how that's such a great thing that comes a part of being a one-wheeler. You're a lawyer here, and I think you've been able to help out a few one-wheelers. Do you want to maybe just speak to your thoughts on what's happening with just scooters in general and citations and the laws that are coming out? Like, where do you see yourself being able to help out the community in that regard?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I think it's just super fascinating from a sociological standpoint. I mean, this is a new wave of transportation. It's a new way that we're going to move ourselves around urban areas, and it's not going away. I mean, the one wheel's not going away. The limes and the birds aren't going away. Cars might go away, but this way of, I mean, at least in dense urban areas, and everyone's grappling with it. I find it fascinating to see the various major metropolitan cities across the country grappling with how do we deal with these people moving 15 miles an hour through the community. And this isn't the first time this stuff has happened, right? You could go back to when the horse started to have to compete with the bicycle on streets, and then the bicycle and the automobile. And I mean, this kind of evolution is the kind of thing that really just has been happening in metropolitan areas for time on end. And I think it's fascinating from that standpoint. So when it comes,
is this the end, Troy? Is this the end of the wild, wild west where there really are no regulations?
Yeah, I mean, it has to be regulated. There just has to be some kind of societal protection for, I mean, insurance is a big deal. People can get really hurt on these things. And my friends that are ER docs are talking about people coming into ER rooms all the time that have gotten hurt on birds and limes. I mean, that's the biggest offender. We're still a niche product as a one wheel, but all these devices are going to keep evolving, and there's got to be rules for how we interact on the streets. You can't just have it be the wild, wild west. I mean, it's a good thing to have regulation. The key is that we do it responsibly. And that's one of the things that's great about this particular community is it does seem to have an extremely positive outlook and attitude. And there's a lot of people. I loved, it hasn't been talked about in a long time, but plus one wheeling or plus one wheeling. I love that concept. It's so cool. And like, just pick up a piece of trash.
Well, tell the people what that means, because some new listeners might not know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I think it was Chris Richardson who sort of suggested or put it out there in the community first, which was just this idea of like, you know, that idea of leave no trace in national parks, and just that.
I think it was boating. Wasn't it with boating? I think it was plus one boating is like come back with one more piece of trash than you came with, than you started with. Like, it's really not that hard. And so we started talking about plus one wheeling on the show, and Rebecca Randolph has just posted a couple pictures where, I mean, literally, she just goes around and picks up trash. And I always say, if you can pick up one piece of trash on every one wheel ride, like, you're helping.
I mean, picking up trash has never been more fun.
Belly, I think you had something for him there. I saw you on the microphone.
Well, no, I was going to get into the fact that, especially with those accident things, it's just one of those things that you kind of get the, is it the inexperience that from the rider when it comes to like those accidents happening? Like, more amateurs are getting on like those bird and one wheel or bird scooters, where one wheelers are specifically going out there to get on a one wheel and really learn how to use it and respect the product.
Yeah, I mean, for sure, the rider is a huge part of it, and I mean, it just stands to reason that the great majority of these injuries are coming from riders who have done something stupid or darted out in traffic or fallen off it and not had a helmet on. But you know, it's also the other way around. I mean, you know, vehicles aren't used to these people moving at this speed. This is something that just doesn't really compute mentally for drivers. And so it's weird. It's like if anybody's ever ridden a motorcycle, you've had the experience where you've looked straight in someone's eyes and you can see that they don't see you because their brain is not registering. Yep. They're looking for a car.
That's a really good example.
Seeing a motorcycle and it's just vacant stare. And that's super dangerous for everyone. So, you know, I mean, there is a way. Atlanta gets a bad rap for its traffic, but we've been doing great things down here in terms of pathways and revitalizing old rail lines to create pedestrian and bicycle walkways. And the unregulated part of that is largely these motorized electric boards. They don't fit into the categories that traditional laws have put on the books. And so something's going to have to happen, and we just want to make sure that things like plus one wheeling and other aspects of our community just don't go out there and be an asshole. And hopefully you'll when it comes time for the city council to make a vote, they're going to be like, yeah, this isn't that bad. This is actually good. We have less cars, and they won't just focus on bad attitudes or bad actors.
Like we have to take what he's saying to heart. I really want to make sure that everybody understands how important our behavior is right now. We're not in a point where all the laws are made and people have been driving for 50, 60 years and it is what it is. You get a ticket for this and you don't for this. And I mean, like, it's not as cut and dry right now. And we are the generation that's setting the pace. And people are going to be voting on this shit real soon because of the limes and the lifts and all this. Or not the lifts. Well, Lyft even has scooters now. Uber has scooters now. It's crazy out here in LA. And I'm telling you that, you know, if we're going to now start having these regulations voted upon, let's do things like plus one wheeling. Let's do things like being a positive member in the community. Try not to ride through Walmarts and malls and shit. Like, that's only going to get us a bad name. Wait until we've got all the laws and regulations in place, and then you can go and have that kind of fun. Troy, last question on that. And then we'll get right into Fishbones. I can't wait to hear about it. Front Concave is here, folks. And it's all because of Troy, John, and Rick at Concave. I'm excited to talk about it. But if I got a ticket for riding around on my one wheel for whatever reason, Troy, is there any legal ramification that I can take to like, is there any leeway there, or am I just pretty much effed?
No. I mean, it's different everywhere. So this isn't a universal answer, but go read the statute or the ordinance, whatever you're ticketed for. Be respectful of the police officer. I would say that with every interaction. If somebody gets stopped and they got weed in their car or something like that, and I've been doing criminal defense for 15 years, and I have these conversations with people, and a lot of it just goes south because they weren't respectful in the initial interaction with the officer. You don't have to like admit anything, but at the same time, just be respectful. So you get a ticket like that, go look up your city ordinance. It'll say on your citation what you're being ticketed for. There's a group called One Wheel Legal Freedoms, and there's a couple lawyers in that group, and you could go post on there, get their sort of opinion on what the statute says and what you were doing. And then, one guy went to court and posted his entire experience about it, and just basically read the statute to the judge, and the judge was like, yeah, this one wheel doesn't fit into the statute, fit more into like what used to be called the segue exception. And he was found not guilty. So you just got to be respectful and go through the process and figure out what your local laws are.
Thank you, Troy. Belly, while we get into the Concave stuff, would you mind producing the hell out of this show like you're already doing? Can you scroll up through Troy's messages in my Facebook? Just Troy, not the group messages.
Okay.
And scroll up to his video from, I think it was New Year's Eve. I want to play that at some point during the show. He's wearing like a yellow shirt. It's about halfway up the feed.
All right. Well, I'll be on the lookout for that.
Thank you, sir. Troy, all right, let's get into Concave. Let's talk about Fishbones, and let's just get right into it because that's what the people are here to talk about. What are they? It looks like a comb that I put on the front of my board that just changes the way that I ride.
Yeah, right. I was out riding this morning, so I got a little helmet hair. So let me just, get looking good for the show. So this is, I'll take you through. This is right now. This is the final version. These are Fishbones.
Okay.
I don't know if you can see my board back here. You can't really see it, but it's got the Fishbones on it. They've been through several iterations. This is the first version of it. This is kind of you can see why we came up with the Fishbones. We just thought they looked like fish. Wow. And that was a version of what we were trying to do. But essentially what we were trying to do was just, let's see if we can attach some sort of shape modification to the front of the board. I mean, it's kind of been an age-old problem, I think, for the one-wheel community. I mean, everybody'd love to have that, but the problem is the sensor. The sensor is flat underneath the grip tape. It's a two-dimensional flat sensor there, and any interference with that can be super dangerous.
In what way? What do you mean?
Well, the biggest way is from ghosting. If you have something on the sensor, then you're possibly at risk of fooling your board into thinking that your foot's on your sensor. I mean, anything can cause that to happen, and especially if there's pressure coming from the edges that would push down and fool the board. Then if you step off the board and your board thinks your foot's on it, you've got a 30-pound missile now going at 30 miles an hour down the street. I mean, it's really super dangerous thing. And so that's generally why people haven't been able to do it. And then, the cush pad solution has been something that a lot of people have done. There's a whole lot of.
What is that? Talk about the cush pad. What is that, the solution? Because some riders might not know.
Yeah. Okay. So I haven't done it. And basically what I understand is that when Jeff McCosker at the Float Life produced the cush pad, he left it compatible with running the wire so that you can set it up and have the sensor underneath the cush pad. And that's my inexperience with that particular modification, talking a little bit. So if I misstated it, forgive me. But I mean, you've got to basically take off your front pad and install the cush pad. And then the cush pad does have a lot more flexibility than any of the other hard wood pads. And so I think the pressure is transferred through the soft part of the cush pad. And that way your sensor can detect that you're on the board. And so, that's a solution. And I think that some people are having some success with that solution. This solution is different because what we did was we just took essentially one contact point. If you can see that this is the back of the fishbone. So this is the system that attaches the fishbone to the edge of your board. So it goes along the edge, along the sides, and then around the top. So that contact point is outside of the surface area where the sensor covers on the front pad. So once you put it around the border, if that remains your only contact area, then the sensor can't be fooled. So this is kind of where Rick Miller, I mean, I've really enjoyed meeting a lot of people in the one wheel community, and Rick Miller is at the top of that list because
he's a crazy fucker.
He really is, man. I love talking to him. He's got this engineering perspective on everything. So we'll be in this kind of like heated argument about what we should do in a certain aspect of this, whether it's production design or marketing. And right in the middle of the conversation, he'll just stop and he'll say like, Troy, I really appreciate your backbone and that you're willing to stand up for things. And then he goes right back into telling me why everything I'm saying won't work. And I just really enjoy that relationship with him. He's a really smart guy. But the genius is the simplicity of what he came up with, which was he just created an STL file, which is a 3D print, or a file used to make a 3D print that raised up the edges, the edges of the contact point, but the teeth that come out over the sensor are elevated by 1.2 millimeters. And so that is a very small little precise distance. And as Rick told me, he's like, Troy, when I say 1.2 millimeters, I don't mean 1.3 or 1.1. I mean 1.2. And it's great working with somebody who's that precise. And so that way, with the teeth elevated over the sensor, there's no way for it to detect your foot when your foot's not on the board. So once you place your foot onto the top of the pad, it presses down on those teeth, and those teeth then activate the sensor. When you take your foot off, there's no activation. So it doesn't have the ghosting issues and the safety issues, and that was our main concern. I mean, you can't make a product and send it out there and have somebody potentially either damage their board or damage somebody else because it's an irresponsibly designed product.
So I've got a wow. My mic's not working. It seems.
Yeah, you're fine. No, you're fine. You're good.
I'm sorry, but I've got a few questions from the social media lounge right off the bat. What is adhering them to the grip, and also how durable are those teeth?
Okay, so question number one, we have come up with what we call a snap and flow system, and it's essentially an industrial Velcro strip that runs along the contact portion of the spine of the Fishbones. And it's two pieces of Velcro. I mean, it works like Velcro, but it's far more, it's called hook and hook Velcro, so it's far more secure. And so when you get your Fishbones, it comes with that system already attached to the edges. So the only installation that you need to do for Fishbones is literally take the backing off of that and then press it down onto the board. That affixes your Fishbone. And after you've done that, you can then we call it a Fillet Card, and we send that out with the Fishbones. And the Fillet Card sort of helps you slice them off. That's because if you were to just pull them straight up, that can cause the adhesion glue to come off your grip tape. But we cycled through a whole bunch of different adhesives on that Velcro until we went through an acrylic-based adhesive, which didn't really sink into the grip tape as well as we'd like it to. And so from there, we've gone on to a rubber-backed adhesive, which goes onto the back of that Velcro. And that really, that rubber-backed adhesive sinks into the grip really well, and it secures them really well. And we've been, I was surprised that the first version of it worked, and then we improved upon that after we sent them through some testing. And that's actually also, that particular system is why we've got a delay. We wanted to be out with them by now, and they're for sale, and they're coming out very soon. And all the Fishbones are actually made. We have them, but what we don't have yet is this industrial half-inch Velcro strip that we've got to get on the bottom. And the reason is we couldn't get that from a retailer. We had to get that from essentially an industrial reseller. So there's just some lead time on that, and the reason we've been perfectionists throughout this process, and we want to make it the best product we can, and that system is the best system to put on there for attachment.
Troy, can you speak to how much of perfectionists you guys have been through this? Because I know you guys tried to launch it, and I don't think it went the way that it was planned to, because you guys want to do it the right way. I remember there were so many tests, like so many beta versions. Like how much has gone into the behind the scenes of this before today?
Tons. And I mean, along with that is the fact that this marketplace is essentially one that is new. We don't have a template for how to create an aftermarket product. I mean, we do. There are templates out there, and like I'll give a great shout out to Michael Wilson at Flightbins, who was gracious enough to give me some of his time and talk about how a product works in this type of marketplace, because it is a brand new type of marketplace. It's just, it's talk about Wild Wild West. I mean, we're experiencing that now. And so I think we started sometime around January, really in earnest. And once John was talking to Rick about the idea of putting some wedges up there on the front, and we had sort of looked at that and thought about that, but we couldn't. We were having sensor issues, and so we kind of had just sort of given up on the project a little bit. That's when Rick said, "Well, why don't you elevate the teeth above the sensor, and then you won't have any issues?" And that's really simple and genius, because I think the thing is that everyone was thinking of this sensor in 2 dimensions, and Rick just kind of went into the 3rd dimension. It's like, why don't we come down from above? And that's when we started making it. This, like I said, this is the first version. You can see it's just, we kind of glued it all together, and it's got a certain shape to it that was good, but it didn't work. It wasn't the right thing. We went to a second version, which is this version. We actually produced this version, and we internally thought this version was gonna be the version that worked. And you can kind of see the difference between the final version and this sort of second to final version is there is no taper on the back of the Fishbone. And the reason for that is because we were sending them out to testers. Our testers were Sean Nelson and Kyle Taylor, Land Pirate. He loves them, and I'm really stoked that he loves them. And he's been doing some tricks with them, and he's told us that he's like, I don't know that the Fishbones are what gave him the ability to land the trick, but what he's told us is that his foot feels so locked in on the front of the board that he's got the confidence to throw whatever it is that he needs to, that he hadn't had before, because his foot hadn't felt that locked in. But at the same time, let's see, who else were we using? Kyle Taylor, Bradley Michael Spence, who just has a great handle on marketing. And if anybody knows about this marketplace, which I talked about being so new, is Bradley Michael Spence, along with like Michael Wilson, some of these guys that have been in this space for a while. June Kim, who's an obvious choice because he does, 100 miles at a time. I mean, the guy's crazy.
Shredding it. I love it.
Totally. And
well, can I point out something, folks, that Troy's a lawyer. He knows how to put together, look, like you could think that you're going to put together like a, let me send this out to some people and have them test it. People have done that to us at TTR Studios before, and it's been wonderful, and feel free to do that. We love getting new stuff and trying it out. But they sent us stuff, and there was like, I remember it was like the second version of this that you sent me to try it out, and it came along with a packet of like, I don't know, 80 to 100,000 questions that I was like, you know what, Troy? I don't think I'm going to be able to do this. They took so much time into making sure that this was right. They didn't just send this out to people to try it and say, hey, what do you think? It was like, and then do your homework and come back with us with real feedback. And I know that those people took the time to do that. So thank you to those beta riders. But I really just wanted to make sure that people understand it's not just something that you 3D printed and said, hey, everybody go have fun. This is something that you've been working on for a long time and really put a lot of thought into. So I hope it goes well for you, man. I wonder what's up with like the 3 sizes. Like, what's the deal with this interchangeability system you got?
Yeah, so that was a bit of it was kind of a combination brainchild of mine and Rick's, because I came to this with this. I started seeing them like the way you would carry when they use the word quiver in skiing or in snowboarding. It's like you have different boards for different conditions or different skis for different conditions. And we knew that we could do this in 3 different sizes, and we were trying to figure out which one was the best size. And what I kind of said was, why don't we just do all 3 sizes, because you might want a lot less concave if you're just doing some big wide carbon in the street. And then you might want a whole lot more concave if you want to feel super locked in and you're doing some serious trail riding. Josh Phelan was another tester for us, and he rides with the Wheelbillies, and I've ridden with those guys, and those guys are shredding backcountry like it's, I mean, they're going down these enormously steep ridges for 8 miles and just following them down there. I mean, you see what Dom does in the woods and on single track, and it's amazing. So we wanted to make sure that they could test them as well. And that gets to the question that Belly asked me about durability. We did have durability issues on the versions that we sent out. We were having some teeth that were snapping in some of those really crazy riding conditions. And so from there, not only did we take that feedback that you talked about, we asked people to really get deep into what they liked about them, what they didn't like about them, problems they were having with them. And one of the things was that we were having broken teeth on this version. The other thing was that we weren't having good heel contact, and we were having some disengagement. There was no ghosting, but you'd be stopped at an intersection, and like all of a sudden it would think that your foot wasn't on all of the pad, and so sensor issues. So we changed the shape and we changed the material. So we're now using a much more sort of flexible material. It's more like the cush pad material. It's not as soft as that, but that flexibility prevents broken teeth. It allows the sensor contact that we were looking for, and it gives the bones a lot more durability.
From the social media lounge, we had Rich Jones in there just a second ago say, my Fishbones worked through a very deep mud puddle trail ride the other day, and that was one with old glue on. Yeah,
I mean, it's so cool. Like we pretty much. I have the old version. I had the old version until just a couple days ago, and I probably put 300 or 400 miles on them. And now I've been riding them in dirt and mud. I love riding single track, and I'm amazed that they hold and they stay on. But they do.
So you're telling me I only need to buy one?
Belly?
No, I'm kidding. Because
you should buy all three of them.
You know why? You should buy all three because
take yourself out.
3 for each board, everyone, and everyone in here has multiple boards, so we know that so you need at least 6 per order. Because you got 2 boards, 3 different combinations of it's going to be a good time.
A lot of math. Yeah, this is like, we're finding multiple positives about having the 3 different sizes. I mean, not only can you swap them in the field, so if you're going from like street and you're riding to your favorite trail and you want to switch it up for that, you can do that. But another thing that's really great that we're finding is, if you pair up with a goofy-footed rider and you're regular, now the 2 of you can split a quiver and you can pretty much mix and match. Like if you want to go with the thinnest one on your heel and you want to go with the steepest concave on your toe, then as long as you're with somebody who rides opposite you and wants to do the same thing, then you guys only need 2 pair. So it's a great thing to share with somebody who rides opposite than you.
I didn't even think of the mix and match. Talk a little bit more about that, because of so obviously the differences are some of the levels of the concave.
Right. So personally, I love riding what we call a C1, which is the thinnest level of concave on my heel, and then under the ball of my toes, under the front of my foot, I love riding the highest level of concave. And so that way, that's just because I think most people you've got a lot more articulation in your feet right underneath your toes, and the heel of your bone is, a more static area. So if you have less concave under the heel of your bone, under your heel bone, then you can it doesn't push you around as much as it does. And then conversely, where you have more steepness wedged up under the balls of your feet, you can really lean into that turn too a lot more. Because you've got the steep concave up there. So mixing and matching has been that, and that's been true for several of the testers and some other people that have tried them out, is they've found that mismatching them is great.
Troy, tell me about this money back guarantee you guys have.
Yeah. That was a result of us sort of doing a pre-sale and then kind of taking it offline, and we kind of didn't do the best job of rolling it out the very first time we did. But we immediately got trolled because we hadn't finished our website yet, but we hadn't even talked about what we were going to sell these for yet. We were just offering an introductory price, and we had some stuff up there with more placeholder. But we were also trying to figure out what it is going to cost us to make them and what it is going to cost us to sell them. And so people just went nuts about the cost. And that was great feedback in its own right. But So, I mean, for us, that was something that we were able to take and then reintegrate into how we decided to release them. And the money back guarantee is because we don't really want to deal with that kind of trolling. I guess, if you're not getting trolled, or you even on the internet kind of, but
comes with the territory, my man. I can definitely speak to you on that one.
Right. So, I mean, what we knew internally was we have so much confidence in these things. I personally, people can make their own decisions about whether they like to ride them or not. Personally, my riding experience is not the same. I don't want to ride my board without them. And I really whenever I let somebody else try them just to hop on my board and I ride their board for a little bit, I'm always like, God, man, how long should I let them try? I need to get my board back. So
well, I know exactly. Troy, I know that feeling because I just got the Plus out here in Studio B, and I have a Cobra back pad that I use for my XR back in Studio A back home. And man, dude, every time I get on this thing, like it's so subtle, but it's a level of confidence that Concave adds to your riding, just like you're speaking to with Kyle Taylor. So you can have it on both ends of the board. Oh my God, man. I'm pumped. I can't wait to get my pair.
Yeah, totally. So, I mean, with a money back guarantee, there's no reason not to. I mean, we're willing to send them to you and then just send your money back to them if it's not for you. Another thing I've learned about riding and the community in this process is that there's no one way to ride your board. And people take that perspective a lot on the forums and just, I mean, everybody wants to promote their way of riding it, but I mean, flight fins are a way of riding the board. It's a completely different way of riding the board than if you ride without flight fins.
Right.
Riding with certain tails, it has a certain riding style to it. And there's no one way. There's just the way you like to ride. We personally think that these are so much fun that we're not worried about the money back guarantee. We'll take them back and we'll send your money back. And the thing
somebody also want them.
And they're not like, we're not trying to say everyone needs these. Everyone has to ride this way. We're just saying, hey, give them a shot. And the only way we could say, hey, give them a shot is to make them available with a money back guarantee. It's gonna work out, I'm sure. Although we'll find out.
You're getting a lot of positive feedback in the social media lounge as well. So, I mean, a lot of people are sounding like they're either going to give them a try or not. They also really want to know how they get their hands on Floatlanta gear. That's the other big popular item.
We love our hats.
Topic.
Yeah, man. Just hit me with a message. I can make it happen. I mean, I don't know how many of these hats I have left, but I started having fun with that. There's not really too many riders in Atlanta, and there definitely was not a community. And once I saw everybody else and the way that they had their community going, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to try to coalesce these people around something. And that was the idea behind Float Aliens and Floatlanta and just the designs.
Belly, can you do us a favor? I want to have a little fun with Troy before we play his video. If you look on the windowsill, is there a Would You Rather box?
Yes.
Is there a box of Would You Rather cards? Because I want to hit him with it, man. Hit him. Just go through like 3 cards. You know it's coming, Troy.
Now, I do have a question on the social media lounge about people being able to purchase an STL file to maybe print their own. What kind of options would there be with that?
Well, I mean, for us, I'm pretty sure that's going to be up to Rick. I mean, Rick is 100% in charge of all the intellectual property and all the design aspect of what we do. I mean, there's 3 of us, and we've kind of divvied up our responsibilities. Mm-hmm. I mean, there is some type of STL file out there, and I know that because Rick has told me that. I don't even hardly know what an STL file is, basically, but there is something out there, and you're welcome to try that. We have a patent pending on this, and so part of that is not releasing our intellectual property.
Exactly.
And so we can't do that.
Yeah, it's okay to say no. You can just flat out just say no.
No, I mean, I want people to be able to do it themselves. I saw somebody last night was like, hey, they found some combs at the Family Dollar, and they were talking about like pasting them to their board. I mean, how awesome would that be if that works? I mean, it wouldn't be that great for the Fishbones company maybe, but I've got a lot of confidence in these. I know that the amount of work that's gone into them, and I know they work really well.
All right, let's do this. Let's have some fun with him, Belly. But I'm not going to leave him alone. I'll play with him. So you just fire away, and all 3 of us will answer.
All right, good. Well, I have two
Gravy.
here. First,
Side.
Gravy.
what?
It's a
Troy,
side.
is gravy a
Condiment.
side or is it a dish?
Is gravy a side or is it a dish?
It's got to be. It's totally a condiment. So
Yeah.
that's not either
Just
one.
goes over
Like,
everything.
I'm going to option 3.
Makes the meal. But
Belly,
all right.
take it away.
Would you rather be attacked by 2 full-grown tigers or be attacked by 70 house cats?
Oh man, house cats, because it'd be like a little puppy pile before you had to die. You know, it'd be like, I mean, you could pretend it's fun, but
for a minute. For a minute.
Yeah.
I feel like Amanda Thompson would love that at first, and then all of a sudden it would just be like death by 1,000 knives.
A kitty pile.
Yeah. I would say cats usually play with all cats are going to play with their prey for a little bit. So yeah, that's a hard decision. I'm going to go with the 70 cats too.
I'm taking the tigers, man. Let's get this shit over with.
You think they'd end it quicker than the 70 cats?
Oh,
It probably
quicker
makes
than
sense.
70 cats clawing my eyes out.
Yeah.
Hell
Do
yeah.
you
Let's
have
see.
to die? I mean, is there an opportunity to try to fight them
It
off?
doesn't
'Cause
say
I might
die,
be able to
just be
take
attacked.
70 cats. I don't know. I'll try.
I feel like
I'll
I
give
could
it my best shot.
outrun. I feel like I could outrun 70 cats, but I can't run out two full-grown tigers.
Hold on. Did you guys see that guy who killed the freaking jaguar on the trail? Is a runner on the trail in
but
Colorado?
it turned out to be a young jaguar, so it's fun.
I know.
That's a sad story then. All right, next one, last one.
All right. Would you rather be a miserable genius or a happy idiot? One of the life's age-old
that's
questions.
Easy happy idiot, man. That's
That's
probably
down.
easy happy idiot.
Oblivious to all. Thanks.
That's right.
Troy, man, thank you so much for joining us here. We had a blast with you today. You did a great job. Social Media Lounge, make sure you hit him up with a round of applause and let him know that he did a great job. And just tell us where we can find these one more time before you get out of here.
It's fishbones.life. Go to www.fishbones.life. There's some stuff up there too. You can learn about them. There's some files where you can actually see them in close proximity, and they rotate around, and so you can kind of really get a sense of what they look like and how they work.
Troy Hendricks, aka Once a Year Floatlanta. Thank you, sir. We'll see you next time, man.
Thanks, guys.
Take care.
Awesome. You did awesome. Belly, give me some tunes.
By
man.
the way,
Let's do some tunes.
Amanda Thompson says she's taking the Tigers.
Oh, Mandy. Yeah, that's all right. All right, that's fair. Let's go to some tunes. Let's transition. That was fun. So, all right, let's do this. I would like to, if we can, we're gonna talk to Chris Richardson. We've got something that we've been teasing, and I want to get him on the line, and then I want to watch a video with him. So, Belly, what do you think about this? If you could, let's fade the music down for a second. I want to talk to you.
Oh, you want to talk to me?
Yeah, how are you, man?
I'm good. Let's see if I can get the switch here where they can see both of us at the same time.
Oh, that would be sweet.
Boom.
I think it's one.
Boom. There it is. What's going on? Yeah,
I'm good. I just want people to know that Belly's been working hard behind the scenes because if you have joined our Patreon, patreon.com/TTR Studios LLC, if you've joined for over $10 at least,
your shirts are in the mail.
Your shirts are in the mail. We are so freaking happy to say that. I yelled at Belly. I was a little drunk the other night, and I was like, I wasn't yelling at him.
Then he told me to go to the post office and the UPS store on a Sunday.
I was like, dude, just get it done. I'm getting yelled at. And
all I said was, I'm going on Monday, and he's like, ah!
We're so excited. I mean, I left for Studio B. Let's see, I flew out. I got up at 5 a.m. on yesterday. And Belly's TV was still on in his room because he got home about half an hour before, like 4:30 in the morning. And I saw he had piled all the shirts, got them all packed up, ready to go. So your shirts are in the mail if you've been waiting for them. And if you want more, patreon.com/TTR Studios LLC. Help support the squad. Join the team. We've got Chris Richardson, who is trying to call us in. But Chris, hold on 1 second.
Yep.
Let's. Do you have him already or no?
I don't have him on yet. I didn't answer. I was going to say, Chris, we're going to get you in just a sec.
Yeah, I actually kind of teased him on that. Belly, you've seen the video that we're about to play from him. Can you, in one word, I asked you last week.
Well, do you want me to play that Troy Hendricks video first?
Yeah, do that. All right. Before you do that, Chris, hold on.
Chris, you excited bastard.
Chris, hold on. Not yet. I love this kid. Belly, here's the question I wanted for you. We'll play the Troy thing. But before we play Troy, we're going to show you a trick that Chris has been working on called the Darkslide. And last week we told you that a revolutionary trick was coming out. And I said, Belly, describe that trick in one word. And he said, wait. He said, wait, because it's coming out today. But if we didn't say wait, what would your one word be to describe this trick?
I think it's one word again. Let's see. It's definitely something. I'm trying to think of the best word to use. Game changer would probably be the first word that comes to mind.
Dope.
First of its kind. Like, you know, it's one of those things that you can't. You're gonna see it. You're just not gonna be able. You're not gonna believe that someone's pulled off something like this.
And I'm not even worried about overhyping it. All right, I'm not even worried about it. Belly, let's play that video.
Which one am I? What am I playing here? You're throwing
the yellow one from. He's wearing like a yellow shirt.
Now, okay, I just switched off of that because you just told me I thought we were playing a different video. I'm sorry.
It's okay. No, you pull that one up. So basically, Troy sent this in on New Year's. I thought it was really funny. And so we'll go ahead and play that one more time. Just clean out the vault. And do that for you guys. And then, Chris, we're going right to your video, and I want to talk to you a little bit about how this came to life. So, do we have that?
I have it. I'm going to set it up for full screen and hit play, okay?
Have fun. All right, yeah, you're on your own on this one.
All right, and play.
Troy Hendricks, once a year, coming to you from Floatlanta, Georgia. And Happy New Year. I just enjoyed coming to church every single Tuesday morning at 11 o'clock with all of you new friends. I got to meet many of you at Float Life Fest, and it's great being able to get together with people that share the same passion for the one wheel that I do. I want to give a special shout out to Luch and Belly, though. Thank you guys so much for hosting us every single week, week in and week out, when you feel like it. And, specifically one episode I want to point out that just thought, just incredible production value and just gave so much to the community with this episode. And that was the one that coincided with the update of the Gemini software. And, you did a great job lining up some fantastic guests for us. Bradley Michael Spence came on, and Chris came on and gave us a lot of information about it. And Sean Nelson did a wonderful job of helping us understand the technological aspects of the custom setting and Gemini software. But to be honest with you, I really wasn't able to wrap my head around the dimensional aspects of this new technology till the zenith of the show, when Luch and Belly started shooting each other in the nuts with Nerf guns. I mean, that's the kind of thing you don't get from Future Motion. They're not standing around the warehouse shooting each other in the nuts or really anywhere in the groin area at all with Nerf guns or any other projectiles. And for me, I couldn't understand the aggressiveness slider on the custom setting. As soon as I got that visual and I got to see that Nerf dart collide with Luch's ball sack, that's kind of when it hit home for me. And I just want to say thank you for going the extra mile for us. And I look forward to 2019. And I hope you guys find all sorts of projectiles to fire at each other in the studio during the show. Thank you. Hey, everybody.
Boom, just like that.
Thank you, sir. Very well done. Thank you, Belly. So that is Troy, a.k.a. once year, Troy Hendricks.
The Nerf gun, that's so funny, shooting each other.
I just love it when you guys send us that kind of stuff. It's fantastic. And it really does help out a lot. So thank you very much. There is one thing that I wanted to drop out before we get to the final of today. Our girl, Rachel Cecil Diesel. She went down, man. She has got a pretty bad broken ankle, and there's a GoFundMe out to help her out because she can't work while she is down for the count. And we want to get her back in business. So what we're going to do is when this is over, I'm going to post the GoFundMe to the bottom of this in the description of this video. YouTube slang. But yeah, I'll throw it in there and make sure if you guys can help her out. We're just trying to help her get through this time where she's bedridden, folks. She is down. I mean, you can tell she's been pushing it for the community. She's only like 19, 20 years old.
She's a champion in the community.
She's a champion, man, and she relies on that job as a server, and she can't do it for a while now. So let's help her out. Just search for the GoFundMe for Rachel Cecil. Just remember her name is not spelled the normal Rachel way. It's the E and A is backwards, so it's RACHEL EAL.
And if you have trouble finding it, Ryan Hurwitz is always has some posts on it. Definitely search on his posts, and you'll be able to find it. Definitely shout out to the Queen Diesel, as they say in the business. And hopefully it's a quick heal.
Belly, we got to get to this Darkslide. Let's do it now. Before we do so, can you do? I have to say this. The order we're gonna do this is gonna be the screenshot and then the video. Okay, bud.
Okay, I got it.
Okay. So what I would like to point out, and Chris, I want to play the video and then I want you to call in. So I want to point out that, you know what? Like I said, backwards. Just play the fucking video. Let's just play the video. Let's just do that. Folks, here it is. Darkslide, first of its kind. Enjoy. Let me know when you hit play.
All right, so I've got the video up now, and I'm going to be hitting play in 3, 2, 1. Boom.
Now, this is the final edit, right? This is the 3-minute one.
No. You told me to play the screenshot first. Sorry.
Okay.
Screenshot first.
Okay. So, never mind. All right, so did we just drop the screenshot one?
Yes.
That is the first ever kickflip ever done on a one wheel. And I want to make sure that you show the screenshot because that shows that it was done on March 13th. And there is something that happened that I feel really bad about. Chris did this like he's been working on this for about a month. He sent me this a long time ago. And we were like, man, we can't wait to play this on the show. And he was like, I'm almost there. I'm working on a final edit for it. And then he sent us these, and it was like, dude, I can't believe that was your final. He started sending us these like back in February, and we told him last week when I told Belly about it. I said, one word, Belly. What do you think to describe it? And he said, wait. And if we hadn't done that, that would have dropped that day. We just chose to wait one more week, and then go figure. The next day, Craft and Ride comes out with a contest for a kickflip. And McCosker comes and just fucking does this cool ass fucking kickflip.
And that's because
McCosker's a friend. He's a friend of the show, and we love him. We love the float life. And what McCosker did was badass. Like, make no mentions about it. I don't want to make any McCosker, dude. Way to fucking send it off that ledge was sick. I just want to make sure that I put out there that Chris's came first, and it was because of us that you didn't get to see it first. Chris's absolutely came first. And I want to play the final video. Can you play the 3-minute edit of the Darkslide with Chris talking about it? And then I want to get Chris on the air.
Got it.
Thanks, boss. Let me know when you hit play on this one.
All right. So I'm playing now 3 seconds in.
So I had the idea when working on slides on the slick block one day that I wondered if I could get it flipped over and slide on the tail or the nose, like a Darkslide. It'd be the one-wheel version of a Darkslide. Sliding on the wheel doesn't do any good. You'd have to slide on one of the foot pads. So I kind of accidentally was getting it to flip a little bit. I wondered if it was possible to flip it and actually get on the other side. So I started trying to diagnose it and think about it and try it, and I've been flipping the board over, balancing on it upside down where it won't balance itself, and then flipping it back for a while. I didn't really realize just what it would take to figure it out, put it all together, and actually make it happen. It's been a couple months now. I've probably put well over 100 hours into it. Thousands and thousands of tries. I've taken and written down notes about different aspects of it. I've had, luckily, my coach, John Stock, has been helping me with my physical therapy, and he's been directly coaching me on how to land this trick. I've sent him clip after clip. He takes a look at it, breaks it down frame by frame. And eventually it started getting a little closer, like Rodney Mullen would call it, bracketing. I started bracketing it down. I could get it flipped over, which is the hardest part, getting it flipped over properly and to land on the parking block. that was a nice milestone to hit. Then I couldn't get it to slide because the wheel loves to drag. You have to have an immense amount of weight on the tail, which is now your bottom foot pad, your float plate, and it wouldn't slide. So I started practicing it on an incline to force it to slide. I eventually got the feel for that. The rollout was the easiest part, surprisingly, there's no way to just get it to roll out super smooth. You kind of have to get it positioned and then kick it over, and the sensor really does not like to re-engage once it's been flipped over. It does not like it at all, so I had to develop techniques to make the sensor re-engage. Hundreds of aspects of this trick, and it finally started coming together. And today, it is March 13th, 2019. Wheel flip tricks are a thing now. And the Darkslide has been landed. Welcome to the dark side, folks.
Chris Richardson, call me right now.
Oh,
You call me right now.
I had
Sorry
to have
about
that up so high. I had that up all the way. Jesus, you just blasted everyone in the ear. Oh my God. Because I had to have it all the way up to get the sound for the video to hit peaks. And then you came in and just demolished me. Oh my
Hi, everyone. Chris, call me right now. I need to talk to you. That was so badass. There's the record number of people in the social media lounge, and I want to make sure that they all hear from you. TTR Studios, Team Captain Ryder. Just proud of him, man. That is. I know he's been working hard on it, and that's next level shit right there. So
yeah,
we'll get him on the line. Is he on there?
Unbelievable trick. I'm waiting on the call now. But yeah, it's one of those things that you just have a hard time getting in. Getting him online.
Coming. All right, so Belly is doing a great job, and I see a lot of you in the social media lounge. I want you to pipe in to Belly right now. What a great job he is doing, because it's hard by yourself, and especially with, we've got multiple guests on Skype, and Chris Richardson's calling in now. He's playing videos that we're trying to sync up. Like, this takes somebody who knows what the F they're doing, and that is one man only right now, and that is Matt LaBelle, a.k.a. Belly Balls. Do we have him?
We should have him good to go here. Let me turn up the, let's see, caller line.
Chris,
Boom.
are you there?
Yeah.
Hey, bud, what's up with this Darkslide? How good are you feeling right now?
Oh, it's awesome, man. I'm glad you guys appreciate it as much as I do. It was an insane project. It really was. I had to break it down into hundreds of aspects. I mean, really, it was something.
Well, can you tell us how we go about starting some sort of a kickflip trip now that you and Jeff are making this something that people are going to start doing? How can we tell us, man? Give us the secrets. Like, you're the magician. Like, give up your tricks, dude. How do I start a kickflip?
No. I'm not gonna
My secrets.
Not yet. Let an old man have his thing for a little while. I just landed the first one-wheel flip trick ever. Everybody's always saying, do a flip trick, do a kickflip. Kickflip is going to be almost impossible. I could go into a long discussion of not only just board dynamics, physics, weight distribution, but also we got to deal with gyroscopics. You know, when you think about that. So yeah, kickflip is going to be insane. But yeah, it was nice to get it down. I mean, I did it into a stall a long time ago, but I didn't think it was very impressive. So I felt like it needed to slide. It needed to be a dark slide. So
right.
Yeah.
Can you tell us what it's like sliding on grip tape? I'm just curious how that goes.
Well, when I had the idea, I'm like, there's no way. It's not going to slide on grip tape, and it's going to destroy it. So I took an old stock rear foot pad, which I pretty much stopped using altogether. And then, I had the Craft and Ride One Tail, which I really liked, and then now the Cush pad that I really like. It was a shame to go back, but I took an old stock pad, took the grip tape completely off of it. I didn't wax it or anything because it was already way too damn slippery with no grip tape. It was hard enough to keep my back foot on, but that was the only way it was going to slide.
Yeah. I mean, you got to have to kind of know that you're going for it. So I'm curious if this is something that. Okay, so if you deserve to have all of the, take some time. We'll all figure it out. We'll catch up to you. But maybe speak to the bracketing the bracketing of putting together a trick that you're really working on from the ground up. You didn't just try to do it all at once, right?
And I'd love to. I may make an instructional video, just a generic instructional video on how to nail down something that's really difficult or challenging for you. And I use that term because I watched a lot of Rodney Mullen's videos, especially his TED Talk and stuff like that. He'll talk about bracketing, where he's a very cerebral guy. He also does computer hacking as a hobby. The dude's just brilliant. And so he thinks of things the way I do, very left brain, very analytical. And so he'll take a trick and really figure it out. There's some people that just have natural talent. They don't have to think about it. I mean, I see people like Bodie. He picks up tricks so fast. I mean, he's also, still a kid. So, I mean, he's got some abilities that I no longer can tap into when I'm 45 years old. But I take and obviously cutting it down into like clips and going frame by frame. But mentally, you have to. And Jonathan Stock, my coach Stock, I call him. I do training with it. He hates to call it physical therapy because really now it's more like training, but he actually helps me take a trick apart, and he deals with it from a physiological level. He shows me, hey, you're leaning too far this way. You got to stick your ass out more. You got to do this and that. And then he'll actually help me do exercise. We actually trained for this trick. I was actually doing stretches and exercises specifically to try to get my body to have control in a greater range of motion in order to get this trick. And
can I ask you? I don't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I want to know, Chris, what level of afraid you are of doing some sort of flip trick like this. The reason I worry about these things is because I don't want to end up in the same bed that Rachel Cecil Diesel is now laying in, which is the hospital. I worry about like I see like Rodney Mullen type skateboarders. Just you have to slam a flip trick to get it right. Like you have to stomp it, right? So like if the angle is just off, your ankle is fucked, right?
And it is until it isn't. I mean, this trick took thousands of tries. And so not only was at first I wasn't trying to slide, I was just trying to get the damn thing to flip over, and it really doesn't like it. And yeah, you're premoing all the time. It flies out from underneath you, and you hit the ground at lightning speed. You've got to learn how to fall. And then compound that. I mean, you can imagine how hard it is to flip something over, land on it, and then compound that with having to land on it in a balanced state with momentum and getting it to slide and control that slide and stay balanced. That's plenty more opportunities for it to fly out from underneath you. It's just, it is. You got to go in with confidence. You got to go in with, you got to shut that fear up. That fear will stop you. And there's no easy way around that. But that's part of the challenge. That's why we do these things, whether it's this or whatever endeavor that you're into, whether it's physically or mentally. And when you go out there and push the limits, it's that you're fighting that primal fight or flight. Your paleocortex does not want you to do this. But when you fight it and do it, it's that satisfaction of pushing through and actually putting something down. And for yourself is why I mainly do it. But I love that other people appreciate this. Some 45-year-old man playing around on an electric skateboard is actually entertaining to them. That's just a bonus. And I really enjoy sharing it with you guys. But mainly it's me just mentally pushing myself out there and seeing if there's something that I can do that's difficult for me.
Well, I know I have one more question for you, but Belly's got something in Studio A before we get you out of here.
First, congratulations.
Thanks, bro.
That's an excellent, mind blown move. Now my real question is, you sit on this celebration for a little bit. Are you already into the next move mindset?
I've got a video I haven't even shared with you guys because Luce likes to spill the beans. I have some other stuff coming.
I'm not good at it either. I'm a spoiler king. It's my fault most of the time.
What I would consider to be the second one-wheel trick ever landed is coming, and that was landed right after this one. So I'll have that for you soon.
All right. Now, before I get you out of here, and yes, I know I can sometimes be a little bit of a...
We like to jump the gun here at TTR Studios.
We got a lot of information coming in through the studios. And Clyde doesn't know what the fuck he's doing, so he just, he's got to get color coded over there.
I may or may not have mentioned Fishbones like 3.5 months ago. So.
All right. Before Chris, we get you out of here, I know you were. Could you speak to Jeff's trick that he did, and just like I know you were saying like how crazy awesome that was, and just the progression of riders taking this to the next level.
Yeah, I mean, he gives me a hard time about my tricks. He's very passive aggressive, I think, but I certainly do not. I think that thing is wonderful. I thought it was awesome. It's really, we may disagree on what to name it because of the physics it takes to put it together, but I think it's nothing but joy and stoked to see that thrown down. It looks awesome.
Now
I just love seeing you guys both do it. Go ahead, Belly.
They both better expect that everyone's going to be asking them to do this and show them at Float Life Fest this year. So they better be ready because the crowds are coming.
Both of you can prepare to be the pretty much the only trainers in this realm now at this point.
Yeah, and I'm always happy to help people. I don't think anybody's in danger of throwing down a Darkslide anytime soon, and I'm a little joking about not helping people, but generally I never refuse a request for help working on a trick. I help a lot of people that PM me, and feel free to PM me. I really enjoy seeing people, whether it's a super beginner trick or something really challenging. I like diagnosing a trick just for the fun of it. And I won't steal your trick. So, we'll work it out. We'll see if we can land some new stuff. I just want to see new stuff being landed in the community.
I love it. All right, we got to let him go. Dude, Chris Richardson, thank you so much, bud. We appreciate you. Tell us where we can find all your one-wheel videos.
The easiest way is onewheel.com, but put 3 E's on the end, like we, and that will take you directly to my YouTube page, and that's the best place to find it. Plus on Facebook. You'll see me all over the Facebook groups.
All right, he is Chris Richardson, the professor, the first ever kickflip. We're just excited for him.
Darkslider.
The Darkslider. Thanks, Chris. We'll see you next time, bud.
All right, thanks. Love you guys.
Love you too, buddy. One wheeling like it's our life. And that's the thing. So, fader down on caller 4, and we are all set for tunes and getting the hell out of here. Belly, today has been a really fun show. And I just wanted to thank everybody. This is a record-breaking show today. I saw double of what we usually have in here. It's an awesome job from everybody coming in and supporting the squad. Remember, you can support what we do at www.patreon.com/TTR Studios LLC. That's how you join the squad, support the team, and we will give you a t-shirt that you'll probably get in about 6 months if you join more than $10. I'm just kidding. We're getting better at our shipping. And we got to get the F out of here. Belly, anything from the social media lounge before we go?
Yeah, if you want your secrets told to the world, just tell Belly or Luch. That's from Copy Imitation, because that's way to do it. No, but seriously, thanks so much, guys. It's been a great show today. We are always having fun here at TTR Studios, as you know. And hopefully we're going to be throwing out some more crazy stuff to you every single week. And
Belly, I still have the turkey I got to drop. Belly and I made a turkey. We did a cooking show that I can't wait to put on our Patreon. This is our first ever successful Studio A and B show, so thank you guys for joining. In record-breaking fashion, Belly, we got to get the F out of here. I'll see you guys
I got to go to work.
Next week? Yeah, he's going to work. See you guys next week. Happy floating.